Thank you, Superintendent Gaussman. Hello again. It's now my honor to introduce Governor Terry Branstad, who grew up in Leland, Iowa. He served in the Iowa House for 6 years before being elected lieutenant governor in 1978. He is Iowa's longest-serving governor, having served from 1983 to 1999 and returning to office in 2001. One of his stated priorities is the renewal of world-class excellence of Iowa schools. Please welcome Governor Terry Branstad.
Wow, thank you very much. Jeff Anderson, thank you for that very nice introduction. It's great to be here. I just came back from Arizona, so it was a big change in weather, but I'm glad to be here and to have the opportunity to address the annual meeting of the Iowa School Board Association. I want to add my congratulations to Paul Gaussman. He's done a phenomenal job as superintendent in Sioux City, and we've worked with him on a number of things, and so he has made a significant contribution. I think you chose certainly a superintendent who has made a real difference and somebody that truly deserves to be recognized and honored. I'm pleased to have this opportunity to be here with you for the Iowa School Board Association's annual convention. And I guess I'm the last one before we go home, so I'll try to keep it relatively brief. I think we're going to do some question and answers at the end. Lieutenant Governor Reynolds is away at the National Lieutenant Governor's meeting, which is going on in Little Rock, so I want to apologize for her not being here. We usually try to do this together. I want you to know that we are thrilled that Iowa adopted the landmark 2013 education reform package last year, and the Iowa School Board Association was instrumental in helping that get accomplished. And that was no small task, and we all worked hard on that throughout the entire session. So thank you for your leadership during the 2013 session, and thank you to all of the school board members in all of your districts now for what you're going to do over the next 3 years as we're going in the implementation of it. The 2013 Education Reform Package promises to help us restore Iowa schools to best in the nation and give our students truly a world-class education. As you know, the centerpiece of this package is better utilizing our teacher and principal leadership to improve instruction and raise student achievement. This builds on the adoption of the Iowa academic standards, which must be fully implemented in school year 2014-15. Iowa is now putting the right education pieces in place for the 21st century. We're no longer complacent. With higher expectations for all our children today, we know that it's essential to better support the more complex work that we're asking our educators to do. But reform will be executed at the local level. So we want to focus briefly on the vital role that you as school board members will play in supporting the changes needed to transform our education all across the state. 100% of Iowa school districts, I'm pleased to report, have applied for our Teacher Leadership Planning Grant this fall. And that's great news that every school district has applied. Thank you for helping make this happen. Each district receives $5,000 plus $3.71 per student in this grant. Each district can now move forward to explore what sort of a teacher and principal leadership system makes the most sense to meet your local needs. In the end, districts do not have to adopt a teacher and principal leadership system, but I hope that all will do so because it stands to make a big difference for our students. The next deadline is January 31st. That's the date for school districts that want to implement a teacher and principal leadership system for the 2014-15 school year. They need to submit proposals to the Iowa Department of Education. In March, the department will notify the first group of districts that are selected. Iowa will phase in our teacher leadership system over the next 3 years. So districts with about 1/3 of the students in Iowa will implement the teacher leadership systems in 2014-15, the next 1/3 in 2015-16, and then the last 1/3 will come in 2016-17. Legislation provides 3 different pathways for school districts as they choose their teacher and principal leadership system, but they all come down to this, basically. Teacher leaders will take on extra responsibilities, such as coaching other teachers, co-teaching, and helping colleagues analyze student data and fine-tuning instructional strategies. It's crucial to pick the right people for these key roles. Principals will guide this shared instructional leadership approach so that a first-rate principal as a leader is essential for this to be successful. As school board members, please be fully engaged in the work involved in putting your district's teacher and principal leadership plan together to help move it forward. Please ask the important and difficult questions, such as, what are the goals for student achievement, and how will this help us to reach them? What is the sustainability of the plan that's being put together over time? And how can we use our teacher and principal leadership system to make education a more attractive profession so more of our students will want to become teachers and leaders in education? I have great hopes for the difference that these new teacher and principal leadership systems will make in the state of Iowa, in part because of the financial support that the state will be providing over the long term. But I am even more hopeful that because of the commitment of teachers, school administrators, and school board members across Iowa, we will be giving our kids the very best possible education. Now I want to turn to another subject, one that troubles me, and I think one that troubles all of us. On November 4th, Lieutenant Governor Reynolds and I hosted our second Governor's Bullying Prevention Summit at Hy-Vee Hall here in Des Moines. And I want to thank the Iowa School Board Association for your generous support and sponsorship of that event. We had nearly 1,100 people attend the event, which focused on practical next steps on how students and adults can make a difference in reducing bullying. I was really pleased with the mixture that we had. We had a lot of students. We had a lot of students and teachers, as well as administrators, as well as some parents. It's important that we take those steps because the 2012 Iowa Youth Survey found that 57% of those that responded to the survey of students said they had been bullied in some way during the past 30 days, up from 50% in 2010. Even if students do not always understand the difference between meanness and bullying, 57% is a huge number. It almost certainly reflects the more activity in cyberbullying that we see over the social media in the last few years, which is why we are exploring how to strengthen our state law to better address this significant problem. We know that you want school administrators to have clear authority to deal with cyberbullying when they believe it interferes with a child's ability to be successful at school. Current state law is not clear enough on that count because it speaks to bullying that occurs in schools, on school property, at school functions, or at school-sponsored activities. But we're talking about cyberbullying that can happen 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and that can affect that student's ability to perform in school. It was a good law that was passed in 2007 at the time. However, I believe it does need to be updated, and we want to work to try to get that done. We did some work on that last year, but the draft came out late in the session, and we're going to continue to work to try to see it this coming year. Iowa law should reflect the reality that many students today spend an enormous amount of their time in the cyber world, and that a lot of bullying does take place there. We also need to change the culture of our schools by sending the message that everyone deserves to feel safe and respected, and that we all must look out for each other. That is, students, and students can be a very positive role model as well as being involved in negative activities. And obviously, teachers and administrators have a very important role to play, and you as school board members, I think, really need to set the tone for your school district. We must make sure that our students feel that adults listen to them and care about them. Many of your school districts have great bullying prevention activities. We had 30 videos that participated in the competition, and many of those were really well done. And Algona won, and the Lieutenant Governor are going to visit Algona to congratulate them. But we appreciate that a lot of students have gotten very proactive in this. Many of you have had anti-bullying activities in your local school districts, and for that we thank you. There's a lot of work ahead, but I want to continue to build on the success we've had with these two conferences. I want to also just thank you for your leadership in many other fronts as well. I feel like we've turned a corner. I feel like we have gotten past our complacency and we're really focused on the future. And I think Iowa is coming back, and we have the very ambitious goal that we want to be best in America in student achievement again. And it's not going to happen in 1 or 2 years. It's going to take a while, but I think we are indeed moving in the direction. And I want to thank all of you for your support and your help in doing so. And with that, thank you very much. I'll be glad to answer your questions. I guess I can't move the microphone, so I was going to walk around here. Do you have a question over here?
Governor Branstad, you've spent some time in China. You have a long-standing relationship with the leadership of China. Do you think that Iowa schools are doing enough to prepare their students to be linguistically and culturally competent, to be cooperative and competitive with our trading partners and political partners around the world?
No, we need to do more there. Some schools, like Muscatine, I think is really trying to do significant things. But I can tell you my experience when I went to China, and you know the background. Xi Jinping came here as a young leader at the county level in 1985, and I met with him on the 29th day of April, 1985. He was so impressed with the friendliness and hospitality, how well he was treated in Iowa, that when I came back as governor in 2007, and he was then the vice president, of course he's now the president of China, he gave us 45 minutes in the Great Hall of the People, just saying how much he loved Iowa and the people of Iowa. And we have that sister state, Hebei province, where he was from at the time. And when I was there last spring for the 30th anniversary of our sister state, I visited their English language school. The kids asked questions in English. It was pretty impressive. We don't do enough, I don't think, in teaching foreign languages, and especially with this world economy that we have. And we have recently received an award for foreign investments in the state of Iowa, and there's a lot of marketing opportunities for Iowa products internationally. So if we can do a better job of encouraging our kids to learn other languages, Chinese particularly, I think it can do a lot to open up great job opportunities for them in the world. So it's something I think we need to encourage more of. I guess I'm getting a signal we need to move on, so. Okay, thank you very much.